So next up, we'll show you how to use the SpeedFusion configurator. So that's just right here next to the Wi-Fi AP tab. So we'll go to the live status. We don't have anything set up yet, so we get this little message. But if we go to the configuration side, we can dive in and build a SpeedFusion network, and you'll see how fast and easy it is. So again, SpeedFusion is what enables that packet level SD-WAN technology so that users can have that sub-second persistent failover between two networks or get that bonded experience. So when you enable that, that turns on the map view so you can kind of see where your nodes were last, and then we can add a profile. So you can choose your topology. I promise you don't have to be that networking savvy to build one of these networks. So we're going to do a star topology. It's going to automatically populate the IPs of the devices. For the hub device, we're going to use our Fusion Hub. So Fusion Hub is the virtual SpeedFusion appliance that lives in the cloud. So you can host that in a public cloud environment, or public safety agencies can run it in their own private hypervisors. If they've got servers on site or private network configurations, you can run Fusion Hub inside of that, so it can be compatible with private network services from the carriers as well. Again, we let you run Fusion Hub anywhere you want. Pretty much any public cloud is supported, and we support Hyper-V, ESXi, lots of different local hypervisor options as well. But again, we're making this Fusion Hub cloud appliance the center of our network. And then I'm just going to choose the routers that I want to actually connect to that SpeedFusion Fusion Hub. So I've got 3 routers here that I'm going to connect to this. We're going to make the encryption 256 AES so it's nice and secure. We're going to turn on NAT mode because all of our devices have the same LAN side network, and so in a traditional VPN that would cause conflicts, but if we turn on NAT mode, everybody gets online and gets that bonded experience without conflicting with each other. You've got lots of settings, but by default, you really don't need to do much here. You don't really need to configure all of that. You can just leave it as default to start, and we'll click Finish. So the thing I always forget to do is click Save Changes at the bottom. We clicked Finish, now we have to click Save. So if we go back to the dashboard view again, you're going to see several devices took a configuration again. So again, we're just validating that these things are there, they're listening, and they're actually responding to the configurations that we're making here. If we log into this router that we just told to build that tunnel, we can actually go look and see that config should be there. The system told us it was. And so it should be trying to establish that connection to the Fusion Hub now. So we'll open that Fusion Hub up too, and we can just look from the other side. You can already see actually here we're getting tunnels coming up. So you can see that Cat18 MBX is connected. You can see the BR1, and this other device isn't quite connected yet. Wrong device, too many tabs. Okay. So now you can see we've got tunnels set up. This last one's coming online. Again, we just did this live over a couple of minutes. We just built a really complex VPN with no sweat at all. And again, we didn't have to touch any of those routers. We just built the profile and it pushed it all out. Again, zero touch configuration, super powerful when you're trying to manage a fleet of devices. So I said we were going to talk about 5 features today, but there's actually one more surprise we'll throw at you. This is a new one that's coming out in our next firmware version, 8.1.0. I touched on this in a recent webinar, but definitely worth showing you folks again here. We've added the capability in 8.1.0 to make all of our routers serve as a time server or an NTP server. And so it's really simple in the router. You just check one box and click Save. But again, it's under the Network tab on the Balance routers, and it's under the Advanced tab on the Max routers. And so this just makes the router respond to NTP requests. So if you've got a DVR or a PC or any sort of connected device on the network with this router, you can point them to the default IP of this router as their time server. Public safety users often call these types of NTP servers a net clock. So effectively what we've done in 8.1.0 is we've added that net clock capability to our product with no extra cost. So you can avoid buying a dedicated appliance for this type of functionality or pointing it to something out on the internet. You can use the local clock of the router to be that time clock or net clock for all your other devices. So this is the first layer of that feature. The second layer is, what is the router's time source, right? We need to make sure the router actually has its head on straight with what time it is. So if we go under System and click on Time, and this is located the same in both routers, both Max and Balance routers. You can set your time zone. You can also set the time zone from in control in a zero-touch manner, but separately from that, you can set where the router is getting its time source from. So in this case, we're telling it to use a time server, and then below you can see it's just using the standard public Peplink time server. But we can use GPS as the time source if the router has GPS. And then we can use GPS and fall back to a public time server as well. So if you've got a router that's on a private network that doesn't have internet access, you can use the native GPS in the cellular module to get that time sync. So you've got super accurate time sync, and then you're able to, again, broadcast that time to any local devices on your network. So that's our kind of Easter egg number 6 popular public safety feature. And again, that's coming out in firmware 8.1.0. You can get that in release candidate today. And I think we'll see that GA hopefully before the end of the month here. So new functionality that's going to show up real soon.